US and China are entering a full-blown tariff trade war. Neither side wants to back down. There are no obvious off-ramps, no easy paths to de-escalate. What we are witnessing is the remaking of the global economy, but increasingly as bifurcated ecosystems centered around America and China. First, we will contribute actively to the stewardship of the global commons. Second, we will champion deeper regional cohesion and integration. Thirdly, we will strengthen our global network of partnerships. Today, the monsoon winds are blowing again, but we do not need to cower, and we certainly will not capitulate. So let us not fear, let us stay united and weather the storms ahead as one people. Let us continue to turn our vulnerabilities into strength. And let us stay true to the spirit that built this nation and ensure this little red dot continues to shine brightly as a beacon of hope, stability, and purpose on the world stage. Singapore's success did not happen in a vacuum. For much of the past 60 years, we thrived in a post-World War II rules-based international order, one that was shaped and underwritten by American leadership. After the Second World War, the US took an extraordinary approach for a victorious power. It promoted an international system of rules and norms that enabled global cooperation. It created space for smaller nations like Singapore to participate meaningfully in world affairs and to benefit from global trade and development. Then, when the Soviet Union collapsed in 1991, the US stood alone as a sole superpower. Its leadership and security umbrella maintained peace and stability in Asia and created an environment in which countries like Singapore could flourish and thrive. It is in this international context that Singapore took flight. Today, very unfortunately, this international order is fraying. The conditions that sustain it no longer hold. Within America, support for global engagement has declined. At the same time, China has emerged as a near-peer competitor of the US. China has benefited immensely from this US-led order. And today, a new generation of Chinese, raised in an era of rapid growth and national revival, believe that the East is rising and the West is declining. America and China are now locked in a fierce contest for global supremacy. Neither country wants open conflict, but there is deep mistrust and suspicion on both sides. Both powers claim they do not wish to force countries to choose sides. But in reality, each seeks to draw others closer into their respective orbits. This rivalry is already reshaping our world and will continue to define the geopolitical landscape for years to come. So we are in the midst of a messy transition globally. To what? Nobody can tell. America is stepping back from its traditional role as the guarantor of order and the world's policeman. But neither China nor any other country is willing or able to fill the vacuum. So nations are turning inward, prioritizing their own narrow interests. Alongside growing geopolitical unease, we are seeing growing turbulence in the international economic system. Today, geopolitical competition has returned with a vengeance. The major powers no longer feel economically secure. So something's got to give. And where economic interdependence was once seen as a virtue, it is now seen as a vulnerability. And therefore, governments are responding by localizing production, building up self-sufficiency, and reasserting greater control over critical supply chains and strategic industries. Economic instruments like tariffs, export controls, and sanctions are being used not for market purposes, but as instruments of statecraft to advance national interest. The US has since postponed most of its reciprocal tariffs, but there is little comfort in this, because the current baseline tariff rates are still much higher than what they used to be, and the changes have already caused great uncertainty for businesses everywhere. Moreover, the US and China are entering a full-blown tariff trade war. For now, neither side wants to back down. There are no obvious off-ramps, no easy paths to de-escalate. And the deterioration of trade ties will accelerate the decoupling of the two economies. What we are witnessing is the remaking of the global economy not as one integrated system, but increasingly as bifurcated ecosystems centered around America and China. For a small, open economy like Singapore, these global developments are deeply worrying. Our prosperity has depended on a stable, rules-based global order and the free flow of trade, capital, people, and ideas. As the old order frays, a new one will eventually emerge. And despite our limitations as a small state, we cannot afford to be a passive bystander in this evolving landscape. Instead, we must respond with agility and resolve and actively shape our own destiny. And Singapore today is not without agency. We are better resourced, more capable, more connected than we were in 1965. We have forged strong friendships around the world. The Singapore brand is well regarded, and we enjoy a deep reservoir of international goodwill. More importantly, we are not alone. There are many like-minded countries that share our commitment to an open, stable, and rules-based global system. So we can and we will deepen and expand our networks with them, and together we can preserve the multilateral frameworks that matter and lay the groundwork now for a more stable global order that can emerge in the years ahead. And it's with that in mind that we will move forward on three key thrusts. First, we will contribute actively to the stewardship of the global commons. Second, we will champion deeper regional cohesion and integration. ASEAN remains central to Singapore's foreign policy. In a fragmented world, regional unity matters more than ever. If ASEAN can stay cohesive and proactive, it will help all 10 members navigate geopolitical tensions and maintain our collective relevance. Combined, we are now the world's 5th largest economy, and we have managed to make the ASEAN Free Trade Area virtually tariff-free, virtually, not yet 100%. So there's still some way to go. These gains have already benefited our citizens and businesses, but we cannot and we should not stop here. We have to accelerate our integration efforts. We should aim for 100% tariff elimination across the region and boost intra-ASEAN trade. And we should further reduce non-tariff barriers to make it easier for businesses to operate across ASEAN. Thirdly, we will strengthen our global network of partnerships. In this increasingly multipolar world, we must develop more varied and deeper relations with multiple partners. Because the more connected we are, the more resilient we will be, and the better we can navigate uncertainty and withstand shocks. Over the past week, I've spoken with counterparts from Malaysia, Japan, New Zealand, the UK, and the EU. We represent different countries across different regions, but we all agreed on one thing. The world needs more cooperation, not less. And we must not retreat into protectionism or isolationism. Beyond economic partnerships, we are deepening and expanding strategic partnerships with like-minded countries, including Australia, New Zealand, India, France, Germany, Republic of Korea, Saudi Arabia, the UK, and Vietnam. We are reaching out to new frontiers in the Middle East, Africa, and Latin America. Like in 1965, we once again find ourselves in uncharted waters. We are still a small country with no natural resources, but we are no longer the Singapore of 6 decades ago. Singaporeans know that if we are ever threatened, no one will come to our rescue. No one else will safeguard Singapore's interests or secure our future for us. We can only depend on ourselves. Naturally, there will be differences in views and even strongly held opinions of how we should position ourselves internationally on global issues. In fact, it's a sign of a healthy and mature citizenship to have a diversity in views and opinions. But we must never let our diversity become a source of division. Ultimately, Singapore's survival and success in this uncertain world will not rest only on the actions of its leaders or the efforts of our diplomats abroad. In the end, it depends on all of us as Singaporeans, our belief in our nation, and our shared sense of responsibility to protect our home and our fellow citizens. Singapore may be an island, but we cannot have an island mentality. We have to look out for one another. We have to strengthen our bonds of fellowship within our society and with others beyond our shores. For centuries, Singapore has served as a safe harbor and a natural meeting point for cultures, commerce, and exchange. Today, the monsoon winds are blowing again, but we do not need to cower, and we certainly will not capitulate. We cannot control the global currents, but we can chart our own course with courage, foresight, and skill. So Singapore will continue to be a safe harbor, a global emporium, and a trusted hub for all sides to engage. So let us not fear, let us stay united and weather the storms ahead as one people. Let us continue to turn our vulnerabilities into strength. And let us stay true to the spirit that built this nation and ensure this little red dot continues to shine brightly as a beacon of hope, stability, and purpose on the world stage. Thank you very much.